alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all human beings on Mother Planet Earth. Yes, as we said, we are looking at the environment and the effects of human beings or on being irresponsible to their duty to the environment. Over the years, as you all know, that men and women neglected or deviated and thought that the environment was an enemy to them. No. Mother Nature or the environment is not an enemy to human beings. And if men did add the duty to beauty to life as a way to guarantee future generations, it would have been okay. Whereby, when we evaluate as auditors, we are internal auditors. Me as a tree somewhere in the Amazon, a tree in Japan, a tree in Australia, a tree in whatever, as well as the solar system, or gravity, what we call gravity dynamics. When we look at life on Mother Planet Earth, and we work out how do men and women contribute to, in order to reduce the high levels of metallic gravity elements. Elements are in the northern hemisphere. Men and women are able to see these elements in the night time when they appear as what you call auroras. Auroras are metallic, whatever, and they have. In fact, when they are kind of approaching Mother Planet Earth, there's a certain language they use. There's a language which is not communicable to human beings, but they do speak. They're words of Allah, very, very powerful, holy words of Allah. However, I won't go deep into that, but what I want to tell human beings that men and women on Mother Planet Earth, my call of duty and celestial obligation to every human is that plant as many trees as fast as you can. Plant many fruit trees whereby you gather fruits to feed yourselves. Plant many, as 50 trees per month or per week, or whichever way you can classify, put that in that, whatever way you can plant trees. That's the only way the environmental ecosystem can communicate, can carry out application, ecosystem or mechanisms to be able to reduce the high levels of gravity electrical elements which are hanging in the upper sky, in the lower sky, as well as on ocean surfaces and ocean floors. If you have to plant trees, those high levels of metallic gravity elements will be able to be recycled into what human consume as whatever, and it will be helpful. But if you hang around and say, oh, we are this and that, my people, even if you are to take a government, you imagine every nation on Mother Planet, every government, there are 200 years of, if you have to budget that this year we are going to spend maybe, let's say, $1 trillion, whatever, dollars in terms of how you wouldn't be able to stop the global warming thing if you did not plant trees. You have to plant trees. That is the only way. That is the only way you can communicate with Mother Nature. If you are not planting trees, however much you spend in your laboratories, in whatever, those are things that Instead of, in fact, when you go in laboratories and say, oh, we are studying the environment, we want to know this and that. That is when you are under the unconscious state of whatever, thinking that if you go in the laboratories, you see. That is when you are in a state of unconsciousness, and that state of unconsciousness, many mistakes occur. Many mistakes occur, and in those mistakes, the genetics of those other living other creations are also kind of in a state of being put in a position whereby some men have, because not every one of you who lives on planet Earth can enter the laboratory in order to be able to do what their heart desires to. There's some men who say, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a professor, I'm this and that. I'll go in the laboratory, we have a laboratory, we can do this and that. The only way you can guarantee your future generations any inheritance to life, beauty to life, is by planting a tree. Let a fool who goes in the laboratory go to the laboratory, but you plant 50 trees, 50 fruit trees. You can plant 50 fruit trees. Plant vegetables. Plant as many as trees as you can. If a fool goes and says, I'm a professor, I'm in a laboratory, I'm studying the environment, yes, that is what he thinks. But for me, I would advise every little boy, every young man, every whatever, your laboratory, to be able to send a dividend, something, to put something in your future generations, any inheritance guaranteed by Allah, is by planting a seed of any fruit that you have eaten. If you have to eat a mango, they go and plant it somewhere. Put it in the soil. That's all I have to do. That is all you have to do. Plant the seed, and then Allah will bring the water. Allah will manage you, whatever. But if you say, you all want to be doctors or professors in laboratories, I say, fuck you. I'm sorry to use that language. So my people, put your houses, not all of you are professors or whatever, but those men who misled you for 11 centuries with curriculum whereby you have inherited liability over liability, and some of these liabilities are very deadly. They contain very deadly, for instance, atomic and nuclear, what you call nuclear knowledge, whereby men, when they go, those men who say you are professors, when they, whatever, he comes out and says, we produce a very nice nuclear warhead. It can destroy the environment, to be terrorist to the environment. How dare you think that killing the environment is of any benefit to citizens of this planet? Killing the environment, so are being terrorists to the environment by producing a nuclear warhead because you're a professor, you started atomic and nuclear air, whatever, and you want to. I said to you, men and women out there, however, even if you're not educated, you can easily plant a tree. Even if you have never entered a class to study anything, you can plant a tree. And that is a very well guaranteed any heritage to your children. Other than that of a professor who says, I'm a professor, and I was Harvard University, I was at Yale University, and I was at Oxford, and I studied atomic and nuclear, and we have a new ballistic missile, which can... this is all sick and very deluded men and women who say, you are professors. My children's out there. Planting trees does not tell you that be a professor. You just go eat a seed when you're eating in your whatever on your dining table. Are you a professor when you're eating? If the answer is no, Do not look at these men and say, who's a professor? No. When you are eating a fresh food or a fruit or anything, do you have to be a professor? If the answer is no, then plant trees in order to harvest those trees, as well as to guarantee a future for every one of your future or babies, whatever, in the future. If you're to say you want to be a professor in atomic and whatever, I have some of my assets, very, very hazardous assets in the Nevada desert. I have one of my best, men they say we are protected. No, I have one of my assets where government spend $8 trillion on manufacturing and assembling a nuclear weapon. They are my property in Nevada desert, in Russia, anywhere on this planet. I can do as I wish whenever I want. But before I do that, I have to tell the little girl in the car, what do you call it? In the jungle. Yeah, plant tree. My little girl plant a tree. My little girl in Kenya, in Uganda, plant trees. Do not pursue to be a professor. If you think you are a professor when you are sitting on your table, then I think on a table where you have to get, what do you call it? USAID, AIDS medicine. No. Just plant trees. Plant trees. Fruit trees, plant vegetables. You don't have to be a professor. You don't have to be a professor. And with that, me, I'm a bird who my nest is one of my trees I planted many centuries ago. I mean, many years ago before I went to travel. We came back and the tree had grown up. I did put my nest there. After putting my nest there, I said, what do? We eat the food that the tree produces, and I carry the seed 3 kilometers from where I ate the seed, because I'm not a professor. I'm a bird that flies east-west in winter, travel, do migrate to different parts of the world. That way, I'm a bird who my contribution to the environment is that Allah guarantees every seed that is planted either by men or by me as a bird or whatever is guaranteed to life. That way, my future generation of birds are like me. I guarantee the beauty to life. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Do not try to sit in the laboratory 24 hours a day saying I'm an atomic engineer. If the land on which a nuclear bomb has been detonated, it takes 5,000 years. That land kind of gain its kind of identity of beauty to life. Life is in a region. If you are to donate to explode a nuclear weapon, when we say, I'm a professor, it's mesmerizing when I look at an explosion of a nuclear whatever. No, it's not mesmerizing. It's because you're deluded. You're sick. It's not mesmerizing. It's you are deluded, you're sick. It's beautiful when you look at a green, well-spread Amazon forest, whereby a tree is an investor. You as a professor, you're a thief, you're a criminal to the environment because you are a terrorist to the environment. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My children, remember, you don't have to be a professor to sit on the table with your parents, to eat any beautiful food. Beautiful foods are not grown in laboratories of nuclear, atomic, whatever. They're grown in the soils, anywhere on this planet. Yeah. Are we on the same? Are we still talking? Are we on the same page? Do not engage in terrorism to the environment. If you do, Mother Nature will throw something that none of you can handle.